We're here in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the invitation of the United States Coast Guard for a special edition of RV Today. By now, most of us are familiar with the scenes of the Coast Guard rescuing residents of New Orleans off the rooftops during the recent hurricanes. But what you might not be familiar with are these 50 to 70 RVs behind me that have been assembled here to temporarily house the Coast Guard personnel whose homes were damaged or destroyed by the hurricanes. It's what they fondly call Camp Katrina.
You got 3 more people down there at least, right? Roger.
Hurricane Katrina was described as the worst catastrophe or set of catastrophes in U.S. history. Federal disaster declarations blanketed 90,000 square miles of the country, an area almost as large as the United Kingdom. Katrina made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane along the Gulf Coast near New Orleans. Its storm surge soon breached the levee system that protected the city, and most of New Orleans was soon flooded.
You honestly couldn't believe what you were seeing, and you just had to make a decision that, okay, I'm gonna put out of my mind the fact that there are hundreds of people waving for help. I'm gonna just pick one house and start picking people off of those rooftops and just do them one at a time.
Taking a load. Survivor is clear.
The Coast Guard worked around the clock and saved over 6,400 lives in New Orleans and along the Gulf Coast in 2 weeks.
It was a pretty good effort on part of the entire Coast Guard. We have assets, people, aircraft from every air station of the Coast Guard that made their way down here to help out. Those initial 12 hours, that was the 6514 was one of the aircraft that was over the city, and also the pilots inside were pilots that were rescuing.
That included you.
Exactly.
We're going to go with 3. Roger. Ready? Can I take a load? Taking a load.
I mean, really, it's a pinnacle for Coast Guard operations. I mean, it's a historic moment. Like I like teasing everybody, you know, it's the greatest rescue since Moses parted the Red Sea. So just tremendous what the Coast Guard has done, and it's great to be part of it.
The Coast Guard base also suffered damage from the hurricane, including the roof and upper floors of the hangar used to house the flight crews ready for deployment.
We had about a half foot of water in there. So the majority of this hangar's already been condemned, has to be rebuilt. And the trailers, as you see over there in front of the operations center, that's where we're keeping our alert crews at night, or we call them our ready crews.
Now, where did that idea come from, to bring in the RVs?
I think that was one of our only options, really. We have a pretty good support network. They had contracts that were able to bring in RVs at a reasonable cost. And
the RVs proved to be the perfect solution to house not only the flight crews, but also the Coast Guard personnel whose homes were destroyed or damaged by the hurricane.
When they're on duty for 24 hours, this is where they're sleeping at night.
Oh, very cool. Here, let's take a walk over here and see these other ones. So we've got basically, there's 2 RVs here?
Yes, 2 RVs. So I have 2 entire crews here each night that stand duty. So they'll sleep in each of these trailers here.
And as most experienced RVers know, it's all about location. The RVs allow the flight crews to be on the grounds and ready for deployment on a moment's notice. The rest of the personnel are housed in a well-designed RV campgrounds on the other side of the base.
Yeah, there's still some of us, including me, who still live here full-time.
Yeah, so how's that working out?
It's not so bad. We could be living a lot worse right now, and I don't mind living in an RV. I'm a camper myself.
You are?
Yeah, although tent camping. I don't do any RV camping. But yeah, it's not so bad. We have shower trailers. We have a mobile kitchen set up as well. So this is actually nice living conditions.
So you're going to give us a tour of the campgrounds, right?
Yeah. This was set up by the Integrated Support Command out of St. Louis. They came down for a couple weeks and helped set all this up. We also are hooked up on shore power, just regular electricity. Initially, we were all using generators, hooked up to just a lot of generators, about 16 of them. And they've hooked us up to shore power, and I think we have 52 trailers here, and 38 of those are hooked up to shore power, 13 on generator.
And I'm looking at, you got electric, you got your water, you got cable.
We have cable hooked up.
Hey, wait a minute. This is not roughing out here.
No, it hasn't been too rough for us. They have been taking care of us. But again, you have to remember that this is our home.
Exactly.
So.
And you have these numbered as well.
Exactly.
And I see number 29. This is actually yours right here.
This is my trailer right here.
And you're going to give us a tour inside?
Yes, hopefully it's clean.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Let's take a tour of Shelley's trailer here. A wooden walkway was established and now runs throughout the entire camp. And there are some tentative street names to create some unofficial addresses for the various officers' quarters. Not bad.
No, it's pretty comfortable. There's room for 3 of us in here. Actually, there's about 5 beds in here that we can pack people in, but the girls were nice enough to give me the large bed. And we have, you know, a dining room table. We can fold this up into a couch. Then we have 2 bunk beds in the back, plenty of storage. We're allowed to use the microwaves. Unfortunately, we can't use the stoves, fire hazard. And we are not hooked up to water, just because it would get a little too messy with so many of us living here. But there's ample storage.
This up here. So then this is your kitchen area here, and that's nice. And you got your coffee maker. I'm guessing that's going to be working.
Coffee maker works very well, yes. Yeah. And then I have some supplies in the refrigerator that works as well, in the freezer. So it's worked out really well. So
now let me ask you. You kind of knew camping. How about the people who didn't, who had never been in an RV before? Did they have to bring them up to speed a little bit on how to use an RV?
Yeah, there's been a lot of messages going out. Excuse me.
Ah, this call just coming in.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Hey, when you're with the Coast Guard, you got to take the call, right?
Exactly.
Right.
There were some people who have never camped in an RV before, so it was a little bit of a learning hurdle for them.
The obvious upside to having a campgrounds right on the base, it's a short commute to work every day. But there is a downside as well.
It's a blessing and it's also a curse, because once you get off of work, they know where you live.
Ah, that's a good point.
Exactly.
They just come over and go, excuse me, we know you're in there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's a very good point.
There's nowhere to hide.
And let me ask you about the experience of being involved in rescue operations or being part of this during Katrina. I mean, the whole nation was watching, the whole world was watching, and you guys just performed magnificently down here. How did that make you feel?
I just surged with pride. I was so happy to be a part of the Coast Guard at that point, and just happy that I made the transition into the Coast Guard to begin with. Looking at all of my fellow workers and thinking, wow, these guys did this. I'm so proud of them. I know I made the right choice, and I know a lot of others feel the same way.
You'll find that sense of pride throughout the Coast Guard personnel stationed down here.
Yeah, it was a tremendous privilege for me to be able to be part of this whole operation, and the teamwork that was exhibited by aircrew from all around the Coast Guard is just an amazing thing to behold.
Ready, taking a load. Swimmer and survivor coming up.
Coming up, we visit with the Coast Guard pilots and swimmers who made the dramatic hurricane rescues in New Orleans.